Okay, who put stovetop stuffing in the dessert section of the Nerdsgiving table? Don't lie. I see it. It's right next to the pumpkin pie like it fucking belongs there. Hey, and welcome back to the Average Joe Nerdcast. I'm Nate, your resident holiday season nostalgia archaeologist, battlefield tested turkey trooper, and man who is absolutely going back for a third plate because I believe in living deliciously. And today, we're doing something a little different because this episode drops on Thanksgiving Day, and I figured instead of unraveling conspiracies or debunking timeline glitches or exposing lizard people hiding under the Costco, or diving into another one of Saban's Sentai Frankenstein creations. No, instead, we're going wholesome. Well, about as wholesome as AJN can get, which means there will still be some sarcasm, questionable life choices, and probably at least one emotional swerve. So, welcome to the first annual Average Joe Nerdcast Nerdsgiving Special, a big, cozy mashup of all the things that made us who we are. This episode is going to have 3 courses. Course 1, the Nerdsgiving Table of Thanks, where I'm going to rapid fire some of the games, cartoons, and movies that shaped my life, the things I'm genuinely thankful for, and the nostalgia that still lives rent-free in my heart. Course 2, the fictional Thanksgiving dinner, a full breakdown of who I would not invite, who would absolutely bring chaos, and which characters would start a food fight before the gravy even hit the table. Spoiler, Vegeta is not allowed near the rolls, and he knows why. And course 3, the emotional finisher, a grounded, heartfelt thank you to all of you, and a real moment about gratitude, community, and why this weird little show of ours means more to me than you will ever know. No conspiracies, no lizard overlords, just vibes, nostalgia, and either the best or worst imaginary potluck ever assembled. So loosen your belt, grab a plate, and pull up a chair to the Nerdsgiving table. This Thanksgiving, are you tired of debates at the dinner table? Tired of arguing about whether stuffing belongs inside the turkey or whether cranberry sauce should be shaped like the can? Or whether Sonic 2 is objectively the greatest Genesis game of all time? Well, good news, holiday heroes. Introducing Gravy Lore, the world's first one-stop Thanksgiving conflict diffuser. Just pour Gravy Lore over any argument and watch tensions melt away like butter on mashed potatoes. Uncle Jerry ranting about politics again? Gravy Lore. Cousin Brent refusing to eat anything green? Gravy Lore. Your brother trying to explain the Kingdom Hearts timeline at the table? Actually, nothing fixes that. Not even God. Gravy Lore, because nothing says we're a family like drowning your problems in sodium. Now available in classic Cajun and pumpkin spice because someone demanded it. Alright, let's kick this Nerdsgiving feast off with the main course. The games I'm thankful for. Not the greatest games ever made, though some of them absolutely are. Not the most technically impressive, just the ones that left fingerprints all over my childhood, my personality, my sense of humor, and honestly, the entire vibe of this show. These are the games that made me, me. Up first, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic 2 was not just a game. It was an entire personality trait. This was the first time I remember a game feeling truly fast. Like the console was trying to outrun my little kid eyes. And the chemical plant zone? Peak anxiety before I even knew what anxiety was. That rising purple water and the drowning countdown sound? That sound is burned into my DNA. I hear it sometimes still when I'm paying bills. But the reason I'm thankful for Sonic 2, it was the moment I realized video games weren't just fun. They were magic. They could make me feel something. Even if that something was, oh God, oh God, oh God, Tails is drowning behind me and I can't help him. And speaking of Chemical Plant Zone, what about that banger of a theme song? Ask my wife. I will literally break out humming that song for no apparent reason. Bum bum ba 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 da ba 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 da ba da bum bum ba 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 da ba 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 da ba da ba 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 da 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 ba da 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 ba 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 da da ba da da ba da da da. Okay, moving on. Up next, Final Fantasy VII. If Sonic 2 was magic, Final Fantasy VII was religion. The first time I saw Midgar, bro, that was my baptism into storytelling. Cloud with the Buster Sword, Aerith's theme, Sephiroth committing war crimes in Dolby Stereo. This was my first movie in game form, my first real JRPG, my first time seeing a character die and thinking, wait a minute, video games can do that to main characters? Final Fantasy VII didn't just change the genre, it changed me. And next, Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid taught me stealth, patience, and that Hideo Kojima might be the strangest genius alive. This game made me feel like a super spy. And also like a toddler because Psycho Mantis called me out for playing Castlevania and I got scared. This game pointed at my memory card and my soul left my body. I will never forget crawling through the vents, the snow crunching under Snake's boots, the codec beeping in my ear like a pager possessed by demons. Metal Gear wasn't a game. It was a flex. It told players, you are smart and you can handle this. And I'm thankful for how much it made me feel like a complete badass, even when I absolutely was not. And next, of course, Halo Combat Evolved. Halo is the reason I'm here doing this show right now. Full stop. Halo was more than a game. It was a lifestyle. It was a way of communicating. It was LAN parties, Mountain Dew, Cheeto dust, and yelling, "Grenade!" even when you were the only one in the room. Halo is the backbone of my nostalgia. It shaped my tastes, my love of sci-fi, my friendships, and honestly, my sense of humor. Halo is church. Halo is scripture. Halo is the reason the Nerdcast exists. And I am thankful every fucking day for it. Next, Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 is when games stopped being playable stories and became cinematic heartbreak machines. This game made loyalty feel like religion. It made decisions feel like pressure. It made my squad feel like my family. The suicide mission? Bro. That wasn't a video game moment. That was a trauma bond. This game rewired my understanding of character writing, stakes, and consequence. This game made me feel something I didn't have language for yet. And for that, I'm grateful. Next, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. This game taught an entire generation what punk music was. Do not argue with me. This is fact. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 was the first time I ever felt cool playing a video game. Kickflips, backflips, the warehouse level, special meter glowing like an overclocked Capri Sun. This wasn't just skateboarding. This was childhood distilled into perfect arcade rhythm. And that soundtrack, buddy, that soundtrack could resurrect the dead. Next, Red Dead Redemption 2. Now this one hits different. Red Dead Redemption 2 is gratitude in video game form. The beauty, the detail, the writing, the horse physics that were more emotionally stable than I ever was. This game made me slow down, appreciate the quiet, appreciate the wilderness, and appreciate the storytelling. Arthur Morgan isn't a character. He's a companion in grief, regret, and ultimately, redemption. I'm thankful for Red Dead Redemption 2 for reminding me that games can be poetry. Okay, the games fed my soul, but the cartoons? Cartoons raised me. Saturday mornings, after school marathons, boiling hot Hot Pockets, the glow of a CRT TV. Life was simple, weird, colorful, and occasionally narrated by Tom Kenny. So let's talk about the animated holy texts I'm genuinely thankful for. Up first, Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold wasn't just a cartoon. It was therapy for children. This show had no business being that emotionally mature. It taught us empathy, boundaries, city life, friendships, trauma, dealing with bullies, and that Grandpa Phil was about 200 years old and still somehow very, very spry. Arnold was basically a 9-year-old therapist with a football head. This show made me a better human before I even realized what it was doing. Next, Dexter's Laboratory. Dexter's Lab was chaos in a lab coat. Every episode felt like drinking Surge and sticking a fork in a socket at the same time. Dee Dee was the original agent of entropy, and Dexter was every kid who overestimated their own intelligence. And the accents? Immaculate. This show gave us Monkey the Superhero Monkey, Dial M for Monkey, Action Hank, and the rare crossover energy of a show that felt like it was made by adults having entirely too much fun. Dexter's Lab taught me science could be very cool, and siblings exist solely to ruin all of your experiments. Next, Dragon Ball Z. You see, DBZ was church, not regular church, like a high-energy revival where the pastor screams for 5 episodes powering up. This show made playground arguments absolutely legendary. Goku versus Vegeta. Who would really win? How long does a spirit bomb really take? Why is Frieza's 5 minutes actually 4 fucking hours? DBZ taught us patience, loyalty. Screaming always increases power, and your strength is always based on the color of your hair. And friends are the family you fight aliens with. I owe a huge chunk of my childhood imagination to this show. Next, Gundam. Gundam was the first time animation started to feel adult. Not mature content adult, no. Like thoughtful, political, tragic, philosophical adult. This was giant robots with actual emotional weight. War, peace, ideology, the human cost. Gundam wasn't just cool, it was important. It made me realize animation could tell stories that hit deeper than most live-action shows. And yes, I absolutely built the model kits and absolutely broke half the parts. And absolutely pretended that was just battle damage. And yes, I still do Gunpla to this day. Less breaking of the parts nowadays, though. And next, Batman, the animated series. This is the gold standard. The mood, the noir, the music, the writing. Mark fucking Hamill as the Joker. Kevin Conroy as the definitive Batman of my lifetime. Every episode felt like a mini movie. Batman the Animated Series didn't talk down to kids. It respected us. It made Gotham feel real, lived in, tragic, hopeful, broken, and beautiful. This show didn't just entertain me, it shaped my entire love for storytelling. I am genuinely thankful for Batman the Animated Series. And next, Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo is comfort food in cartoon form. The music, the goofy animation, the laugh tracks, the same villain plan every single time. The gang running in and out of 50 fucking doors like a fever dream. Scooby-Doo taught me teamwork always matters. The monster is usually just some dude. Snacks fix everything, and unmasking your fears is the first step to beating them. It's timeless, it's cozy, it's safe, it's childhood distilled into a warm bowl of Saturday morning simplicity. And I'm thankful for every rerun that got me through sick days and lazy afternoons. And I'm especially thankful for all the times my mom and my grandma would sit on the couch and we would just watch Scooby-Doo together. Okay, we've feasted on games, we've binged some of the cartoons. Now it's time for the final course of the Nerdsgiving appetizer platter. The movies I am genuinely thankful for. The ones that helped raise me, rewired me, scared me, shaped my taste, and turned me into the movie-quoting chaos gremlin I am today. So let's dive in. Up first, Terminator 2: Judgment Day. This is not just one of my favorite movies. This is one of the movies. I saw Terminator 2 way younger than I probably should have, and it blew my tiny human mind straight into orbit. This was the first time a movie felt bigger than life, like James Cameron filmed the future and mailed it back to us. The T-1000, the chase with the semi-truck, Linda Hamilton looking like she could bench press the apocalypse. But what I'm most thankful for is how much heart this movie has. Behind the explosions and liquid metal nightmare fuel is a story about learning empathy, protection, and sacrifice. This movie taught me that action films can have emotional stakes and still absolutely slap. And next, Aliens. Aliens was my gateway into sci-fi horror. And dude, there is nothing like your first time watching Ripley tell an 8-foot-tall space bug, "Get away from her, you bitch." Aliens was everything. A war movie, a sci-fi epic, a horror story, a character piece, a masterclass in tension, pacing, and payoff. Ripley became a blueprint for strong characters long before strong female character became a buzzword. The Marine Squad, absolutely iconic. The motion tracker beeps, terror incarnate. And the xenomorphs, perfect as always. This film didn't just scare me, it inspired me. I owe my love of atmosphere and my obsession with world building to Aliens. And next up, Batman. All of it. Through Batman the Animated Series, to Burton, to Nolan, all of it. Batman movies fundamentally shaped who I am. Burton's Batman made superheroes feel gothic and operatic. Batman the Animated Series refined Batman into myth. The Nolan trilogy made the character real in a way my teenage brain was not ready for. I'm thankful for Batman because he taught me something early. You don't need superpowers to make a difference. You just need purpose, resolve, and a slightly concerning amount of money. Batman is the reason I fell in love with heroic storytelling. Next, The Matrix. The first time I saw The Matrix, bro, I thought I unlocked the cheat codes to the whole universe. This was the moment I realized movies could question reality, identity, and fate and still have the coolest fucking action scenes ever put to film. That green text raining down the screen, cultural artifact. The lobby shootout, absolutely legendary. Neo waking up in the real world, traumatizing in the best way possible. I walked out of that movie thinking every bird, bus, and mailbox was part of the simulation. And honestly, maybe a little bit of me still does. And next, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'm thankful for the Lord of the Rings because it proved movies could be epic without losing intimacy. Shire Comfort, Moria Terror, Rohan Pride, Gondor Despair, Samwise I Can't Carry It For You, Gamgee. Absolutely ruining me emotionally since 2001. These movies weren't films. They were eras. They were sleepovers. They were friendships. They were rewatches with popcorn the size of my torso. The Lord of the Rings made fantasy feel like home. And next, Back to the Future. Now this was childhood magic. Back to the Future wasn't just a movie. It was a vibe, a cultural event, a warm hug wrapped in synth music. This was the first movie that made time travel feel fun, not depressing, not complicated, just pure, goofy, skateboard off the back of a truck fun. I'm thankful for this movie because it taught me science fiction can be silly, adventure can be personal. Your parents were weird once, and the DeLorean is the coolest, impractical car ever filmed. Also, shout out to Doc Brown, the only man whose entire personality is chaotic STEM teacher. This movie didn't just entertain me, it rewired my idea of what a story can be. And next, Jurassic Park. No movie has ever hit me in the face with wonder plus terror the way Jurassic Park did. The first time I saw those gates open, that was cinema. The Brachiosaurus reveal, cinematic baptism. The raptor kitchen scene, therapy bill. The T-Rex roar, that's when my soul left my body and has not returned since. Jurassic Park is why I fell in love with creature effects. It's why I love world building. It's why I'm still terrified of bushes that move at night. This movie didn't just make dinosaurs look real, it made imagination feel real. And I'm thankful for that. And next, The Mummy. The Mummy is one of the greatest adventure movies ever created. Brendan Fraser, peak charisma, peak heart, peak I am absolutely not paid enough for this. Rachel Weisz, national treasure, librarian icon. The reason every millennial developed a crush they still have not recovered from. This movie was Indiana Jones energy, horror comedy perfection, 90s camp, flawless chemistry, and special effects that honestly still hold up surprisingly well. I'm thankful for The Mummy because it was fun. Big, loud, warm, swashbuckling fun. It reminded me that movies don't have to be gritty or grim. They can just be joyful chaos with mummies chasing after you. This movie raised an entire generation, and we turned out pretty great. And look, anything with monsters. I was a monster kid. If it had claws, fangs, or fur that absolutely didn't look safe, I was watching it. The Universal monsters, the creature features on late night TV. These films made me fall in love with horror, practical effects, and storytelling with teeth. I'm thankful for monster movies because they taught me fear could be fun. And also, the movies that shaped my family life. Because honestly, I'm thankful for the movies that were not blockbusters, but they've become traditions. The movies I watch with my kids, the ones that become family quotes, the ones my wife and I always go back to, the ones Ripley would lay on the couch beside me for. Movies aren't just entertainment. They're time capsules, they're memory anchors, they're the background soundtrack of my life. This Thanksgiving, are you tired of gravy that just tastes like gravy? Are you standing in your kitchen whispering, "Man, I wish this turkey juice tasted like a power-up"? Well, do we have something for you? Introducing Gamer Gravy, the first gravy infused with pure, uncut nostalgia energy. With every pour of Gamer Gravy, you'll enjoy bold holiday flavors like Sonic Speed Herb Blend, Mass Effect Mass Reduction, now with 50% fewer existential choices, Final Fantasy VII Herb Mix, Limit Break Strength Guaranteed, Halo Ring Au Jus, the gravy that fights for humanity, Red Dead Ranch Style Country Gravy, slow cooked since 1899, and new this year, Metal Gear Solid Turkey Drip, gravy so stealthy you won't even hear it sneak up behind you. Gamer Gravy pairs perfectly with mashed potatoes, stuffing, leftover sandwiches, that one uncle's dry turkey, and the emotional support role you eat before dealing with the family drama. And for dessert lovers, try our Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 cranberry sauce. Every bite comes with plus 50 combo points if you can eat it while doing a manual. Gamer Gravy, because this Thanksgiving, leveling up should taste delicious. Now available exclusively at the Nerdiverse, the back aisle of Blockbuster, if you can find the last one, and probably at Steve's house because he ordered 24 gallons by mistake. Gamer Gravy. Pour, eat, respawn. All right, sorry about that quick ad break. You know how it is. Gotta pay the bills, even if they are fictitious. But before we head to the Nerdsgiving table, I want to park the ship here for just a quick second. Because we all love our games, our shows, our movies, but sometimes it isn't the story itself that sticks with us. Sometimes it's the sound. And sometimes it's the people inside those stories who stayed with us long after the credits rolled. This is the comfort section. The stuff we didn't just consume, it's the stuff that helped build us. Up first, the comfort soundtracks that never left us. You ever hear a soundtrack so good it hits your soul like a warm blanket fresh from the dryer? Dude, some of these scores, they're basically vitamins at this point. Like Final Fantasy VII, Nobuo Uematsu's entire emotional onslaught, that opening bombing mission theme, it still gives me goosebumps to this day. Aerith's theme, dude, that song could emotionally fold laundry. It just calms everything. And what about Halo Combat Evolved? Marty O'Donnell's Gregorian Gym Pump Up? That choir, those drums, that we're about to storm the gates of heaven energy. That became the soundtrack to all of our childhood LAN parties and our adulthood motivation playlists. And what about Mass Effect 2? Suicide Mission? You know you've lived a full life when a piece of music makes you want to save the galaxy and do the dishes at the same time. And what about Sonic the Hedgehog 2? Emerald Hill Zone? Tell me that is not serotonin in audio form. Or what about Red Dead Redemption 2? Unshaken? Sometimes a song hits you so hard you stop what you're doing and stare into the middle distance like a cowboy haunted by life choices. And Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, the whole damn soundtrack. You hear Goldfinger's Superman for even 1 second, and suddenly you're 12 years old again, ollieing in your driveway and believing you could fly. Some soundtracks weren't just good, they were foundational. They rewired our brains, they became comfort food in musical form. They live rent-free in the part of our brain labeled core memories. Do not delete. And now the music's out of the way, let's take a second to talk about the characters who didn't just entertain us. They helped forge us. They hard-coded personality traits into all of us. They shaped our worldview before we even knew what a worldview was. These are the comfort characters, the ones who walked with us through childhood, adolescence, the awkward years, the glow-ups, the breakdowns, and, most importantly, the comebacks. And they weren't always the obvious choices. These are the ones that stuck. And number one, the Master Chief. And good Lord, he's a man of few words, and somehow every single one becomes scripture. He taught an entire generation that you don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need speeches to be a leader, and sometimes the strongest thing you can do is keep going. He was stoicism without arrogance, strength without ego, a walking metaphor for resilience. Dude, John 117 wasn't just a Spartan. He was emotional scaffolding for half of us. Next, Scorpion. He is the definition of turning pain into power. He showed us rage doesn't have to devour you. Loyalty can survive death. And sometimes the comeback is so hard, it becomes mythology. He wasn't just a fighter. He was a symbol. Every "get over here" felt like ripping obstacles out of your path by sheer will. Scorpion taught us to rise, again and again, even from literal hell. And what about Vegeta, my beloved disaster prince? This man carried generational trauma, cosmic level ego, constant failure, constant rising, and character development so raw it changed anime forever. Vegeta taught us that growth isn't pretty. It's not linear. It's not soft. Sometimes it's absolutely ugly. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it means apologizing with your fists first and your words second. Vegeta is the blueprint for stubborn people learning to love. And next, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto wasn't just a story. It was therapy disguised as an anime. He taught us your beginnings don't define your ending. Loneliness can forge empathy. Rejection can fuel purpose. And the loudest kid in the room often has the biggest heart. Naruto taught a generation of abandoned, anxious, or misunderstood kids to stand up and shout, "I'm still worth believing in." And next, Tommy Oliver. Tommy wasn't just a Power Ranger. He was the Power Ranger. He showed us redemption arcs can hit different. People can change without losing who they are. And masculine strength can be gentle. And leadership can be earned, not declared. The Green Ranger taught us mystery and swagger. The White Ranger taught us grace and responsibility. Dr. Tommy Oliver taught us longevity. He wasn't just a character. He was a friend we grew up right alongside of, and he left a mark that will never, ever fade. And next, Spider-Man. He is the comfort character for anyone who's ever felt overwhelmed but refused to quit. He taught us humor is a coping mechanism, and a damn good one at that. Responsibility is heavy, but meaningful. You can be scared and heroic, and you don't need perfection, just effort. Every version of Peter Parker taught us that the most heroic thing you can do is keep trying, even when life stacks L's on your plate like a buffet. And last, Captain America. And look, Steve Rogers didn't make us patriotic. He made us introspective. Cap taught us that strength means nothing without character. Integrity is rebel energy. Doing the right thing is rarely the easy thing. I can do this all day is not arrogance, it's willpower. Cap didn't tell us to follow the system. He showed us how to question it. He gave us permission to stand up for our values, even when we're outnumbered, outpowered, or outvoted. He wasn't propaganda. He was hope. And that's everything that I'm thankful for. But what are you thankful for? And no big serious answers here. This isn't Thanksgiving with relatives. I mean, what are you thankful for with nerd stuff? The stories that shaped you, the characters who helped you grow, the games that kept you afloat, the fandoms that made life less lonely, the soundtracks that healed a piece of you, and the moments you think about when you need grounding. Drop them in the comments, send them to me in a DM, tag me, send a carrier pigeon. It doesn't matter. Tell me what filled your nostalgia plate this year. Because Nerdsgiving isn't just my table, it's our table. And real quick, before anyone ats me because I left their comfort game or cartoon off of my list, trust me, I didn't forget it. I just didn't want this turning into a 4-hour AJN lore scroll where I name drop every game, show, movie, and character that lives rent-free in my brain. We've got plates to demolish, couches to claim, and at least one Brenda to debunk and mean mug from across the dining room. So, let's keep this train rolling. And before we even start constructing the sacred Nerdsgiving table, we gotta be honest here. Not every pop culture character is welcome at Thanksgiving. Some of them, they're liabilities, walking disasters, insurance claims waiting to happen. So here it is. The official list of characters who are not allowed through the Nerdsgiving front door. At number 1, Vegeta. Permanent lifetime ban. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Vegeta is not invited. Not this year, not next year, not in any possible timeline, multiverse, or filler arc. That man has ruined the rolls 3 years in a row. Blown up the oven trying to heat it faster, argued with the turkey, and last year, he tried to power up the gravy. Bro, it's gravy. It doesn't need a final flash. Vegeta stays home this year, and he knows why. At 2, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And don't get me wrong, I love them. I grew up with them. But they are not allowed in my kitchen on Thanksgiving Day. Some of the reasons? They will bring pizza, no matter what the meal is supposed to be. They will put marshmallows on mashed potatoes. Michelangelo will absolutely try to put pizza stuffing inside the turkey. And Master Splinter will try to teach a lesson and unplug the TV during the Detroit Lions game. They are banned. With love, but still banned. At 3, the merc with the mouth, Deadpool. Absolutely fucking not. You cannot let a man who breaks the fourth wall, carries katanas indoors, shows up uninvited, and will try to drunkenly narrate the entire evening anywhere near a family dinner. He will absolutely spike the punch, hit on the mashed potatoes, and ask your mom weirdly personal questions while wearing a holiday sweater with bullet holes in it. Hard fucking pass. I love you, Deadpool, but sorry. And 4, Goku. Listen to me. Goku is invited to many things. Thanksgiving just is not one of them. Because my grocery budget cannot handle this man. He would eat the turkey, the backup turkey, the emergency ham, every single side, and then ask, so when do we eat for real? No, sir. Go home, Goku. Chi-Chi has food for you. And 5, Garfield. He would eat everything that isn't nailed down. He would insult everyone while doing it. He would fight you for the last roll. And then he would fall asleep on the couch before helping clean up. He is basically every divorced uncle rolled into one fat orange cat. Uninvited. At 6, Yennefer Avengerberg. And not because she's bad, not because she's chaotic, but because the moment she walks in, every dude in the room forgets their wife exists. We are not doing a Thanksgiving thirst triangle with a sorceress. This is a family environment. She gets a polite, happy holiday text from a safe distance. Number 7, Ash Ketchum. That kid will let Pikachu sit on the fucking table, and Pikachu will shock everyone. That's just science. Also, Ash would absolutely treat the turkey like a Pokemon battle. Turkey, I choose you! Out. Get out. Not today, Pallet Town. Now, if that's the list of people banned from Nerdsgiving, what about the people who would bring pure chaos? They're still going to be invited, but you're going to regret it instantly. And number 1, Sonic the Hedgehog. He's not malicious, he's just Sonic. He's going to sprint through the house, spill every drink, trip the dog, turn the thermostat to 62, and eat all the chili dogs before dinner even starts. He's chaos incarnate. And number 2, Homer Simpson. And he means well, but he absolutely will carve the turkey wrong, drop the pie, eat the pie off the floor, fall asleep in the mashed potatoes, catch something on fire. He's basically human slapstick wrapped in a dad bod. And number 3, Michelangelo specifically. The other Ninja Turtles, yes, they are banned with love, but Michelangelo, you can let him in once because he is absolute fun. And then suddenly, he's juggling the dinner rolls. He's trying to put pizza seasoning on everything. He's doing skateboard tricks in your hallway. Your grandma is yelling. Your kids are cheering. And you lose full control of your entire house. At 4, Captain Jack Sparrow. Chaos. Just chaos. He shows up late. He shows up half drunk. He shows up with a turkey he's traded for rum. And he shows up riding a shopping cart like it's a pirate ship. He is delightful, but you will lose something valuable before he ever leaves. Now we've got the banned list out of the way, and the people who can be invited but will absolutely cause some chaos. But what about who starts the food fight? At number 1, Vegeta. Again, it's always Vegeta. Even though he's banned, he will find a way in. And the moment someone says, actually, Goku is stronger, it's a wrap. The mashed potatoes are airborne. The turkey is a projectile. Green beans are being weaponized. He turns Nerdsgiving into a boss battle. At number 2, Bugs Bunny. He starts fights the way God intended, by gaslighting the entire fucking room. Bugs will absolutely swap plates, hide the rolls, mix up the gravy boat, place a whoopee cushion under the turkey, and blame someone else when chaos erupts. He is the Loki of Looney Tunes. At 3, the Animaniacs. Why? Because you do not invite chaos goblins shaped like cartoon siblings into a structured dinner. They will ride the floats, climb the chandelier, sing show tunes, overthrow the kitchen, and turn your seating chart into modern art. They are the food fight. And at 4, Spider-Man, specifically the Tom Holland version. He won't mean to cause trouble, but he will. Try to help. Accidentally web the turkey to the ceiling. Panic. Accidentally web more things. Get flustered. Knock over the gravy. Apologize profusely. Call Happy for backup. And suddenly, it's a crossover event in your dining room. And at 5, Scooby and Shaggy. They will start the food fight by trying to stop the food fight. But because they're Scooby and Shaggy, they panic. They slip. They slide under the table. They launch pies with their feet. They accidentally bump into Vegeta. Vegeta powers up. And then the entire house is gone. Okay, that's enough of the lists. Get your aprons on. because now it's time for the Nerdsgiving table, which this is the part of the episode where we throw out the real-world menu, ignore every Food Network rule, and build the greatest, most unhinged fictional Thanksgiving feast in pop culture history. So let's start plating. Up first, the main course. Look, normal turkey, that's fine, that's respectable, but we're building a feast powered by pure fiction and childhood brain rot. So your turkey options are going to include the Skyrim sweet rolled turkey. Perfectly brown, a little suspicious, probably stolen. If you take it off the table, every guard in the house will somehow sense it and yell, "Stop right there, criminal scum!" Next choice, Monster Hunter's well done steak. Cooked with one of those giant anime spit roasting rotisseries that would burn your eyebrows off. You know the one where the cat chefs yell, "Meowsterpiece!" Yeah, that. Next choice, Kratos roasted boar. Cooked over the flames of pure dad rage. Seasoned only with snow, grief, and lessons you never asked for. Pairs perfectly with quiet resentment and a deep need for fucking therapy. And final choice, Final Fantasy 15 camping meal. I don't know what Ignis was cooking out there, but everything looked like it had a Michelin star. If I could eat Polygon food, I'd eat his Polygon food. So choose wisely. Or do what I do and just put all four on the plate. It's Nerdsgiving. Calories are fucking fictional. Now up for your choices of sides. And now this is where the chaos is really gonna get going. Your first choice? Ninja Turtles sewer pizza. Extra cheese, extra pepperoni, extra Michelangelo shouted cowabunga over it. Will it make you sick? Probably. Will you eat it anyways? Abso-fucking-lutely. Next choice? Ratatouille's Ratatouille. Made by a rat who cooks better than most humans. Pairs well with self-doubt and the uncomfortable realization that a rodent is more successful than you ever will be. Next choice? The Hogwarts feast sides. Mashed potatoes that refill themselves, cornbread that floats, pumpkin pasties, and if you say the wrong spell, your green beans turn into a ferret. Nature is healing. Next choice? The Krabby Patty sliders. No, they are not vegan. No, they're not from the sea. No, we still don't know the secret formula. And frankly, I really don't want to know at this point. Just let the mystery live on. Next choice? Limbus bread. One bite is enough to keep you full for an entire day. Or a full hike across Middle Earth. In my house, full day. In Sam and Frodo's house, breakfast appetizer. And last choice? Sonic-style chili dogs. Aerodynamic. High calorie count. No one knows how he eats them without getting chili on his gloves. You know, that's the real mystery of Sonic lore. And now that the sides are out of the way, let's dive into the drinks. Your choices are Hi-C Ecto Cooler. If you grew up in the 90s, this stuff flows through your bloodstream like nostalgia plasma. It absolutely tastes like citrus and childhood cavities. Next choice, Butterbeer. Does it have alcohol? Does it not? Is it just cream soda cosplay? Nobody really knows. All I know is, it slaps. Next choice, Blue Bantha Milk. Luke Skywalker drank it right out of the creature. We are absolutely not fucking doing that. This is Nerdsgiving, not Fear Factor. Next choice, the Ooze from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. Should you drink it? Absolutely fucking not. Will Steve drink it? Absolutely fucking yes. And now that the drinks are out of the way, we're moving right on to dessert. Your first choice is Scooby Snacks. You can choose the dog treat version or the human cookie version, depending on your willingness to risk it. Next choice, Wonka bars. Maybe you get a golden ticket, or maybe you get diabetes. Either way, adventure. Next choice, Aunt May's cherry pie, the Sam Raimi edition. Warm, sweet, served with tough love and unsolicited life advice. And last choice, the cake that is not a lie. We brought one. We put it on the table. We made it real. You're welcome. Okay, before we move on out of here, based on all those choices, here's my Nerdsgiving plate. Monster Hunter Well Done Steak, charred perfection. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Sewer Pizza Slice, structurally unsound but spiritually correct. Limbus Bread, one bite, full day of errands. A chili dog, running shoes, not included. Hogwarts mashed potatoes, floaty, buttery, maybe sentient. And a big glass of ice-cold Ecto Cooler. And for dessert, a Wonka bar and a slice of Aunt May's cherry pie. Because, balance. There is the ultimate Nerdsgiving plate. Zero nutrition, maximum joy, pure serotonin. Exactly how Thanksgiving should be. This Thanksgiving, are you tired of being the only one at the dinner table who knows how to fix the Wi-Fi, explain the MCU timeline, and carve the turkey without summoning ancient family drama? You may be experiencing holiday hero syndrome. But don't worry, help is just one call away. Introducing Holiday Hero Hotline, the 24/7 emergency service staffed entirely by exhausted nerds ready to walk you through any and all holiday crisis, including, why is the turkey still frozen? My uncle said the earth is flat. What do I do? The gravy won't thicken, but the tension will. Help! My cousin brought his new girlfriend and she thinks Star Wars started in 2015. My kids are crying because Pikachu's tail is wrong. My mother-in-law just said she doesn't like Halo. Am I legally allowed to flip the table? Each Holiday Hero Hotline membership includes an emergency pop culture educator, a certified family dinner negotiator, a licensed awkward silence filler, and access to our exclusive audiobook, breathing exercises for when someone misquotes The Lord of the Rings. Call now and we'll even throw in the Crisis Carver, the only turkey knife that also deflects unsolicited political opinions. Holiday Hero Hotline, keeping Thanksgiving magical, manageable, and moderately sane. All right, everybody, buckle up, because dinner's done, the plates are stacked, Steve is trying to make leftover mashed potato sculptures again, and now it's time for the big event. The thing we wait all year for. The tradition older than my first Halo LAN party. The only parade that would make Macy's go, okay, what in the fuck is this? Ladies and gentlemen, nerds of all ages, pull up a chair, grab yourself a warm drink, make sure your nostalgia glands are hydrated, because welcome to the Average Joe Nerdcast Thanksgiving Parade. Cue the marching band, cue the floats, cue the absolute nonsense. Let's do this thing. And ladies and gentlemen, here we go, broadcasting live from the streets of Nerd York City. A place where the buildings are tall, the fandoms are loud, and the laws of physics only apply when they feel like it. The confetti cannons are loaded, the crowd is buzzing, and Steve has been warned exactly one time not to touch anything as it rolls by. And here comes our first float. Oh buddy, coming in hot at 117% scale, it's the giant inflatable Master Chief balloon. Standing at a majestic 11 stories tall, our boy Spartan 117 is drifting down the parade route holding a gravity hammer the size of an Arby's. The crowd is loving it. Kids are waving, adults are crying, and somewhere in the distance a single tear rolls down the cheek of a LAN party veteran. Oh no! And Steve is already tangled in the balloon cables. He is dangling about 6 feet off the ground. He looks like Master Chief is walking him like a dog. We will probably circle back to that. And now, gliding solemnly into view, please keep your voices down, it's the Batman brooding float. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, standing on top of a gigantic Gotham rooftop replica. cape flowing dramatically, not interacting with anyone, just staring into the middle distance like he's listening to a My Chemical Romance album inside his cowl. A small child has waved at him. Batman has not waved back. Batman has never waved back. Batman does not wave. And ladies and gentlemen, here he comes, Mario in a tiny go-kart drifting down 34th Street like he owes somebody money. He is throwing bananas into the crowd. Oh God! One just hit a city councilman. Another just made a tourist wipe out in slow motion. Police have arrived to try and stop Mario. They've slipped. Everyone is slipping. It's a war zone out here. Mario is screaming, "Wahoo!" The crowd is screaming back. Chaos is achieved. And now, oh boy, this one is always a safety risk. The giant Pikachu balloon, modeled after the version of Pikachu we all misremember. Yellow, plump, smiling, and completely covered in static electricity because someone inflated it too fast. Yup, there it goes. It just shocked an entire row of spectators like a furry taser. Steve, stop petting it. I know it's cute, but it's literally a blimp full of lightning. And oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your eyes skyward because Goku is currently floating above the parade, gathering energy for a spirit bomb. That's right, folks. He has been powering up since 6:30 a.m. We asked him to stop. He politely said no. The crowd is now raising their hands to donate their energy. Steve is raising both hands, his foot, and his emotional support turkey leg. We are concerned. Oh, this is bad. We have a full-sized Godzilla float coming down the street and... Yep, it just tail-whipped the DuckTales marching band into another dimension. Folks, don't worry, the band is okay. They are running. Some of them are still playing. The tuba player has not stopped once, and honestly, he deserves a raise. Oh no! It's the Kratos longboat float! The entire boat is being pulled down the street by cosplayers dressed as actual wolves. Kratos stands in the middle, 8 foot tall, zero humor. He is pointing at random children yelling, "Boy, boy, not you, boy." A kid waved back and Kratos looked legitimately confused. 10 out of 10 float. And marching proudly behind him is the Halo ODST drumline. The cadence is sharp, heavy, and 100% ready to breach a fortified Thanksgiving buffet. And next up is the Pokemon Trainer Wind Ensemble. Half of the section is perfectly in sync, the other half appears to be led by a very confused Psyduck. And now, the Looney Tunes Big Band. Trumpets blazing, tubas wobbling, and the trombone player is actively being chased down the street by Wile E. Coyote. And riding proudly atop a single float with absolutely no shame is the Sexy Sax Man. Leather pants, wind machine, endless careless whisper. 20 blocks of pure, unfiltered sexual tension. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we appear to have a situation on the parade route. The Garfield balloon has broken free. It is drifting towards an Olive Garden. Steve is running after it yelling, "You don't even like lasagna that much." And we now have confirmation that Sonic the Hedgehog has once again outrun the parade route. He is currently 3 blocks ahead, waving at absolutely no one. And in a surprise performance, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers have begun a martial arts demonstration in the middle of the intersection. The Green Ranger just stuck a perfect superhero landing. The crowd approves. And on the opposite corner, a lone Jedi appears to be attempting to direct traffic using the Force. The taxi he's staring at is not moving, but the taxi driver is absolutely shouting louder than any Sith Lord. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment that officially marks the start of the holiday season, the final float of the Average Joe Nerdcast Thanksgiving Parade. It's the big man himself, Santa Claus. But not just any Santa, ladies and gentlemen. This is AJN Santa, riding in a sleigh modded like a 98 Game Shark. The sleigh is powered by 8 RGB lit reindeer. They glow like a LAN party that never ended. The runners have underglow lights like a Need for Speed car. And Santa is wearing a Halo 3 Legendary Edition helmet over his Santa hat. And instead of a bag of toys, he's got a loot crate filled with Game Boys, VHS tapes, and limited edition holographic Pokemon cards he absolutely shouldn't be throwing this close to traffic. He's waving to the crowd, shouting, "Stay gold, nerd bold," like it's his personal North Pole tagline. The kids are screaming, parents are screaming, and one dad is crying because Santa just tossed him a factory-sealed copy of Sonic 2. And behind Santa's sleigh floats one final balloon, a glowing, shimmering 20-foot ornament shaped like my girl Ripley, our patron saint of the Nerdcast, curled up and snoring peacefully inside a giant snow globe. It's perfect, it's chaotic, it's festive, it's everything the AJN Parade should be. And with Santa soaring overhead, peppermint latte in hand, we officially wrap the 2025 Average Joe Nerdcast Thanksgiving Parade. This episode of the Average Joe Nerdcast Thanksgiving Parade was supposed to be brought to you by... hang on a second. Steve, what does this say? Tinfoil turkey wraps? No, tinfoil turkey traps? Steve, why are we trapping turkeys? Anyway, today's blooper break is sponsored by Mash Mash Instant Mashed Potatoes. The only mashed potatoes scientifically engineered to be 90% air and 10% questionable nostalgia. Just add water, sadness, and a little parental disappointment. Mash Mash, because not every side dish needs a backstory. And remember, folks, Steve is fine. He just learned the hard way that Garfield balloons are not rideable. All right, deep breath, everybody. We've laughed, we've gotten nostalgic, we've built a fictional Thanksgiving plate that would absolutely kill any mortal man. And we just survived the very first Average Joe Nerdcast Thanksgiving Parade without losing a single inflatable hero. So before we sign off, I want to do something we don't always slow down for. A time to genuinely say thank you. Not the quick, casual thank you we toss out in passing, but the kind you feel in your chest. The kind that sits with you like a warm blanket after a long week. Because this year, this whole wild, ridiculous, joy-filled few months of the Average Joe Nerdcast has meant more to me than I can ever put into words. And most importantly, this show only exists because of the people in my life who keep me grounded, encouraged, inspired, and refusing to quit. So here we go. First off, thank you. Yeah, you. Everyone listening right now. Whether you're day one or you stumbled in here last week because the algorithm sneezed. Seriously, thank you for being here, for showing up, for letting me be a small part of your day, your commute, your late night nostalgia spiral. You didn't just listen. You helped this tiny passion project turn into a real community. A place where nerds, gamers, cartoon kids, movie lovers, and nostalgia gremlins can gather around a digital campfire and just be. This show does not work without you, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And to my player too, you are my partner in every timeline, in every universe, in every version of me. even the tired gremlin who stays up too late researching and scripting episodes. Thank you for cheering me on, for telling me, hey, you should do an episode about the Mandela effect, for laughing at my dumb jokes even when you don't have to, and most importantly, for believing in this show when it was just notes on my phone and a very confused microphone. Thank you for every go record, babe, every sacrifice, every night you kept this house running so I could chase a creative spark. Every episode I make, every story I tell, you are right there with me. Always. And to my kids, my two favorite NPCs in this entire campaign of life, thank you for the laughter, the weirdness, the hugs after long work days, and for reminding me what nostalgia is really about. Passing joy forward. You are the reason I care about stories. You are the reason I care about building a world worth remembering. I love you both more than every single Chaos Emerald combined. And to cap, man, you're the one who told me, why don't you just sit down and record it? You pushed me to turn an idea into a real thing. And when our house caught on fire, when we were standing outside in the dead of night, exhausted and scared, you showed up. You stayed. You made sure we had somewhere safe to go, even though you and me both had work the next morning. That is selflessness. That is brotherhood. That is love in action. Thank you for being the kind of man you do not meet often, and for always having my back. To Ian, my brother, not by blood, but by everything that actually matters in this world. You were there for me on the worst day of my life. When I lost Ripley. When my world cracked open. You held the line for me. You kept me grounded when I wanted to fall apart. You are family, in every sense of the word, and I am thankful for your brotherhood until the very end. I love you, brother. And to Pickle, buddy, I don't know what dimension you wandered in from, but thank you for bringing the chaos energy this podcast obviously needed. You are living proof that every adventuring party requires one unpredictable gremlin who will absolutely push the big red button just to see what happens. Never change. And in all seriousness, so many AJN episodes were born from our nerd tangents, wild theories, and stupidly fun conversations. You've added fire, laughter, and energy to my creative life in ways you do not even realize. I am so grateful for every ridiculous idea you have ever lobbed my way. And to Tim, friend of the pod and future idea wizard, you have sparked some absolute bangers, bro. Stuff for Nerdoween 2026 and beyond. You were one of the first listeners, one of the first supporters, one of the first people to say, dude, this show hit something. Thank you for nerding out with me, for pushing nostalgia deeper, and for being part of this growing family. And to Noah, the first official AJN Street Team member. Brother, I can't thank you enough. You've convinced more people to listen to this show than my own marketing efforts. You hype it, you share it, you celebrate it, and you pushed me to revisit forgotten gems from childhood and to remember why I loved all this stuff in the first place. We may be from different generations, but you'd fit right in with us 90s kids. Thank you for riding with me on this adventure. To my mom and to my dad. Mom, I love you. Thank you for the strength, the stubbornness, the humor, and cultivating and protecting my creativity and critical thinking nature, and pushing me to follow passions and every other piece of who I am. And Dad, I miss you. Your memory lives in my stories, in my nostalgia, in the way I look back on the world that raised me. You are a part of this podcast each and every week, whether listeners will ever realize it or not. And to my veteran brothers and sisters, from one service member to another, I see you. I'm grateful for you. And this holiday, I hope you find rest, community, and people who appreciate what you've given. You deserve peace, today and always. And to everyone dealing with grief, struggle, burnout, or just surviving the holidays, you are not alone. You absolutely matter. And if all you managed to do today was breathe, that is enough. This space, this show, is as much for you as it is for anyone. You are part of this community. You are part of this story. And I am so grateful that you are here. And to creativity, imagination, and the stories that carry us, thank you for the spark, the escape, the comfort, the wonder, the reminder that no matter how loud the world gets, we can build places that feel warm, familiar, and safe. Storytelling is a gift, a shelter, a lifeline, and I am so thankful every single day that I get to do this. And to Ripley, our patron saint, forever part of this Nerdcast, forever in our hearts. Thank you for the joy, the chaos, the zoomies, the comfort, the love. Every single time I hit record, she's here in spirit, tail wagging, tongue out, ready to run across the parade route and tackle Garfield. I miss you, girl, and I celebrate you every damn episode. And in closing, you see, the thing about nerd culture, the games, the shows, the movies, the characters, it gave us a language when we didn't have one. It gave us heroes when we needed them. It gave us comfort when the world felt heavy. It helped us grow, escape, imagine, recover, and remember who we are. And nostalgia is just love wearing an old jacket. It's the warm glow of a memory saying, hey kid, you made it. You're still here. So wherever you are today, at a crowded table, on a quiet couch, on a long drive, on a break, sneaking a moment for yourself, I hope this episode brought you some laughter, some warmth, and a reminder that joy doesn't have to be big to be meaningful. Sometimes it's as small as a game level, a TV theme song, a cartoon frame burned into your brain, or a moment with the people who feel like home. Thank you for sharing this Nerdsgiving with me. And with that, stay thankful, stay gold, nerd bold, and I'll catch you on the next one. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Game over.
Okay, there has to be some left. Nate said there were sweet rolls. Heard him say sweet rolls. Why is everything labeled? Why does Nate alphabetize his leftovers? Why is the cranberry sauce filed under C instead of S for sauce? The system makes no sense.
What in the fuck? Skin Daddy? You do exist? Call back. Why is the fridge open? Why are you kneeling on the kitchen floor staring at my Tupperware like it owes you money?
Where are the sweet rolls?
You mean the Skyrim sweet roll turkey?
Yes, the sweet roll turkey. The turkey sweet roll. The sweet turkey roll. I don't care what order the words go in. I want it.
Buddy, that was fictional. It's not a real recipe.
Not even in New Game Plus?
No, especially not in New Game Plus.
So you're telling me I crawled into the fridge on Thanksgiving for nothing?
Dude, please get the fuck out of the fridge. My kids already think it's haunted enough around here.
Fine, but if a sweet roll does spawn, I call dibs.
Yeah, sure. If the universe patches one in, it's all yours, dude.
Did you hear that?
Nope. Good night.